Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We will get the show started in just a few more moments. To everyone watching on Facebook or YouTube, consider sharing the concert on Facebook. It is a small way to show appreciation and the best way to grow our little community. A reminder that, as always, Don's live stream is free to all. But if you'd like to make a donation, there is information in all of the chats as well as on screen to do so. Thank you for your patience. We'll see you soon.
Hello everyone. Hey, how you doing? Hi Tommy. Hi Meg. Hi everybody. Oh Sherry, hello.
Hi,
Welcome.
Dan.
Christina, listen there, everybody. Wow, welcome. Chicago in the house.
Hey, Danny.
As you can see, we like the interactive nature of this thing, so if you want to yap at me in between songs, feel free until such a time as we have Brandon just mute you and carry you out bodily.
In charge, you.
Let's try that again. It's a hard, dark, cold world with everybody in their cars in a million-mile traffic jam trying to get to their jobs. You there with your bright light, hiding in your little room with your guitar and your pencil, writing your secret tune. Go light, go light, go light the world on fire. This is your day, it's your time. Go light the world on fire. In the first part, you learn what you love to do. In the middle part, if you do it a lot, till it becomes a part of you. In the last part, you can give the world the best work of your life. And then you lay down with a big smile, tell the whole world good night. Go light, go light, go light the world on fire. This is your day, it's your time. Go light the world on fire. It's a hard, dark, cold world with everybody in their cars in a million-mile traffic jam trying to get to their jobs. We need you to come on down from your little room. Bring your bright light to the dark night. Play us your secret tune. Go light, go light, go light the world on fire. This is your day, it's your time. Go light the world on fire. Go light, go light, go light the world on fire. This is your day, it's your time. Go light the world on fire. Go light the world on fire. Go on and light the world on fire. Ta-da! Welcome.
John, how'd you know us?
There you go. That's right. So unmute and applaud, please, so I don't feel like I'm an insane person just playing to my computer screen, assuming somebody's listening. Let's just have the illusion of us all being together. I've got $300 bills that are all brand new. They are begging me to think of something cool to do. How about I'll take you downtown and spend them all on you? I don't want to stay home tonight. We have worked so hard for so many years, built a home, a life, a family, and 2 careers. Saved our money for the future, now the future's here. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Michael, Johnny, Richard, Ruthie, and Joan all had bouts with cancer last year, you know. If cancer was a man, I'd punch him in the throat. I don't want to stay home tonight. 'Cause time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes and wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Well, I know we can't party like we did before. Can't stay out till 4 in the morning no more. But the house is paid off and the kids are all grown. What the hell have we been working for? Let's take a nap, take our inhalers, take a multivitamin, and then go out to hear some music with all of our friends. Wouldn't that be nice? Who didn't die from the way we used to party back then. I don't want to stay home tonight. And time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes and wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home, can't stay home. I can't stay home again tonight.
Woo! All right.
And that crowd is going wild. Look at it,
we are
pouring it.
all staying.
This is so surreal. It's so familiar and so surreal now. I just can't. It's so unusual. So I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you. Hannah, nice to see you. Hannah's going to be singing for us next week. Can't wait to see that. So here, Hannah, I'm not sure that you heard this last week. This is called Woodstock Memories. Let me play this for you. Did you hear it last time? Yeah. Oh yeah. So here, this is the this is my Peter Max poster that was hanging in my bedroom when I was 13 years old, right there. I found it when I moved my house. When we moved, it was buried in the closet. So my mother knew that there was going to be trouble with me because I had like psychedelic posters hanging on my wall, and the photographs of the hippies putting flowers down the barrels of policemen and riot police and all that. She knew I wasn't going to turn out not like she wanted, I don't think. But anyway, those of you that were around in the 70s, I don't want you to stare too hard at that poster because it could trigger some latent psychedelic psychedelic experience, you know, that's been laying around in the air since way back. So let me play this one, and then I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna read something new. That I just spent 2 days in New Hampshire writing. Like I knew I couldn't get my book finished if I didn't commit to it, so I rented a house in New Hampshire for 2 days a week, and I just spent 15 hours writing, which for me is like a month's worth. And so I'm gonna read a little something that I wrote. It's not quite finished up there, but we'll do that in a minute. This is for all the young people who shouldn't be listening to old people, especially old hippies, tell them that their time isn't the coolest time. Your time is the best time. You know, like don't let old hippies tell you that you missed anything. I was there. They're mostly dead and burned out, and you know, it wasn't that great. It wasn't all good, you know. And you know, it's hard to be gay, and you go to jail for smoking weed. There's a lot of better things going on now. Grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She kept a ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. And if you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talking about the Grateful Dead, Summer of Love, or the Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in her glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friend about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And that night she would dream of being on the bus with Keezy, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You know, you should have been 20 in 1969. All the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun, singing, there's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. You know, those were the first words Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun, singing Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969. And since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun, singing, there's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Go ahead, Peter Max, have at it.
All right, Dawn. Woo!
Oh, Sarah.
Where's my
All
light?
right, there you all are. I love you, I love you, I love you. Look at so those of you on other platforms or no
Love
matter
you
where you
too,
are.
Don.
What's that, buddy? Say it again.
We love you too.
Oh man, there's just love pouring out of my holograms tonight. So, if you're on another platform or no matter where you are, if you're watching on Zoom or whatever, if you can go to if you're a friend, Facebook page and just share this. It's a lot of people get to see it that way. It really helps to spread the get it out there. So those of you that are on other platforms, also, if you want to come over here and hang out with us on Zoom where we can interact, that's good too. All right, so I've been writing, so I'm trying to finish this book, right? And this book, it's a collection of 4 or 5 short stories, but they're actually pretty long stories, and they're, but this last one now is one that I just wasn't comfortable writing about. It's about hitchhiking. It's about my wife and I hitchhiked, as many of you know, for many years, but I am writing about it now, and I'm actually having some fun doing it. It's a long lost art form, the hitchhiking thing. And so I'll give you just a little taste. This is unedited, so it'll probably be a little different when once my editor gets a hold of it. My editor hates adverbs. He hates adverbs. I get my paper back, and there's like bullet holes where all the adverbs used to be. Like anything with an ly on the end of it, he's like, out, pretty much. Or sometimes I'll come up with a good one and he'll be happy. Like, he doesn't want me to be lazy about them, which is so funny. All right, so here, let me find this and I'll do it. So this is basically just a little piece about my first lift. I was in Arizona, Tucson, 17 years old, and my girlfriend, who turned out to be my wife, came out to be with me, so here we go. Some older, self-proclaimed happily married people simply cannot stop themselves from telling anyone that will listen about how much deeper and more fulfilling love is when it is old. You might innocently have asked them about their lawn, and they might respond by telling you about the countless songs and poems that diminish the lack of depth in young love while extolling the many virtues and benefits of love that has a few decades under its belt. And they are right. Every one of these songs, stories, and poems tells an absolutely unimpeachable truth. There is no comparison between the depth of love between two humans that have worked together to build a life and raise a family and two who have not. There, I said it. I mean it. I am officially and permanently on record as being in total agreement. But remembering that I am 100% in agreement with the unassailable assessment that old love is the greatest of all the loves, might I, just for the sake of argument, and not in any way to diminish the sovereignty of old loves, say, gently and with all due respect, that the one thing, and it's only one single thing, that might be put in the plus column for young love, that old love, again, with all due respect, doesn't have, is voltage.
Woo!
My gal is red hot. Your gal ain't doodly squat. One summer night, I was standing with a group of my neighbors across the street from a car that had knocked down a telephone pole. There were electrical wires laying everywhere. During our community gawking sessions, one of those wires shifted slightly, and when the live end of it touched the metal of the car roof, a giant blue arc lit up the night, creating a popping, cracking sound that was so loud it made everyone within 100 feet jump back and yelp. When I realized, at 17 years old, that Teresa McDermott might possibly be at least slightly attracted to me, I felt like my body was hooked up to that downed wire, and it was delivering that high voltage blue arc of light and that electrical explosion directly into my bloodstream. The thought of seeing her, kissing her, and oh man, touching her electrified me to the point where I'm sure that my head smelled like overheated circuitry whenever I thought of her. How I felt at the moment she appeared at the door of the house I was staying in Tucson is entirely beyond my ability to describe. Suffice it to say that that was the day that my life as I have come to know it began. Some ancient, inaccessible part of me knew this and responded by unleashing a year's worth of dopamine to my brain's pleasure centers. If you could see the smile on my face now, as I recall that moment all these years later, my countenance would articulate to you what I was feeling with much more eloquence than any words I could possibly assemble. So 6 weeks after leaving home, I had the girl of my dreams by my side and a world of unlimited and unpredictable adventure awaiting our imminent disembarkation from the stifling safety of stability. Ta-da.
Woo! Red hot.
All right.
So true.
Woo!
Wow, it's a hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
hit.
like it.
I love it.
Well,
So-
it's the start of a hit.
It's the start of a hit. It's the first of the beginning of a hit. So I'm gonna get this thing done. You know, it's so weird now as an artist. I don't know where you make money. You can't really make money writing songs unless you get really lucky. It's hard to sell CDs and all that. But people still buy books, so I'm committing to this. I'm gonna work 2 full days a week away from everybody. Just I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I wrote until my eyes crossed at like 2 o'clock. I couldn't do it anymore. Then I wrote again at night. So I'm just gonna treat it like a job and have it done by hopefully by September, and then ready for distribution into the world for the holiday season, because I don't see any other money coming my way that other than money to buy noodles with, like noodle money. So, all right. Does anybody want to hear anything? Brandon, do you see my friend over there on YouTube yet? I want to see if she's there.
I do not see her yet.
All right. So if anybody wants to hear anything, just if you're over here in Zoom, just yell it out if you want. Here's the yelling out time, or you could put it in the chat or whatever. But other than that, I'll just think of something.
It's a wonderful day.
It's a great day. You want that one?
There you go.
All right. Here we go. Get a look at you here. All right. I was on the highway, I was cruising along. Decided to put my seatbelt on. A minute later, baby, would you believe? A Big Mac truck crashed into me. I told the policeman that it was okay. He said, your seatbelt saved your life today. The ambulance driver, the EMTs, they all started singing this song to me. Said, it's a great day to not be dead. Shoot, you want, to not cave in your windshield with your head. Cave in your windshield with your head. You're an ugly man, but if that occurred, believe me, you would be even uglier. And it's a great day to not be dead. Shoot, you want. Later that evening with my family, we were sitting on the couch, we were watching TV. There was a drive-by shooting on the 6 o'clock news. They fired 15 bullets at one poor dude. He took one on the finger, one on the shin. The other 13 all missed him, so we called him up at the hospital. We sang to him over the telephone. We said, hey, it is a great day to not be dead. To not have a bunch of bullets in your head. Oh, what wonderful luck you got. The guy that tried to kill you was a terrible shot. And it's a great day to not be dead. Shoot you out. Well, the next news story on my TV set was that guy whose wife brought a knife to bed. And this is telling you how old this song is. You have to be almost nursing home age to remember this. But the guy's name was Bobbitt, right? Remember Mr. Bobbitt? 1 hour later, as the story goes, a part of his anatomy was laying by the road. Well, my sassy wife looked over and she smiled at me. She started singing this song to me. She said, hey, it's a great day to not be dead. Do not have your wife bring a knife with her to bed. Shoot you out, chop, chop, whoa. I yell, I scream, I complain a lot, but at least I haven't cut no body parts off, and it's a great day to not be dead. You know, not cutting body parts off is a pretty good quality in a wife, really, when you think about it. If you're with somebody tonight, you've been with her any length of time, and you're still put together anatomically the same way you were when you first met, I don't think it's inappropriate to say thank you. Well, I thought about my car crash, my close call, and then I started getting sentimental. Said I love this house, I love you guys, I even love my rusty old car outside, and I'm so happy to be alive with you. Let's do all the things we always said that we would do. Cause you know something, it's a great day. It's a great day. It is a great day. It is a great day. It's a great day to not be dead.
Yay!
Here you go. All right.
Hey, Don, do you remember what happened to John Wayne Bobbitt?
I remember the interesting part.
But after they found it, reattached it, he got into porno, and he had the nickname of Frankenpenis.
How do you know that?
I have a wealth of information that does nobody any good except for a situation like this.
Somebody's got to produce these things.
Well, it's good to know. See, you learn a lot when you come to the Dawn White Show on Thursday night. You learn a lot of important things. Hi, Joe Cowan, Joe Crafty in the house. There you go. Good to see you, buddy. In the after party tonight, we're gonna have Tim Mason as our poet at 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock, and then Nick Zano is here, and Christina Thompson Lively, and these are people that I'm really close to and I know well. So it's kind of like old home week here. So I'm gonna play this song. I don't play it much. It's but if you have the Winning Streak album, it's on there, and Christina does a beautiful job singing on it. It's called "Be Afraid" is the name of the song, and so the idea. Well, I'm just gonna play it, but to have, pretty soon, Christina, we'll be able to sing together. I'm vaccinated. Everybody knows vaccinated. You know what I mean? We're gonna we'll be able to do this stuff together pretty soon here. In my living room, I have a crazy box. It shows me scary things, and it talks and talks. It never stops all night and day, and it tells me why I should be afraid. And camera crews drive by my door to look for violence, hate, and war. And they film the worst things that they see, and the crazy box shows them all to me. It says, be afraid, stay here, be safe, don't go away to that other place. It's cold out there and the wind will blow. What we really mean is we need you so. We were in high school then, you had the bluest eyes. They were like looking into the summer sky. You pointed them at me and said, let's get away from this factory town when we graduate. And so we made a plan to go on the road to discover what our future holds. And when we told our friends and families, almost all of them said to you and me, be afraid, stay here, be safe, don't go away to that other place. It's cold out there and the wind will blow. What we really mean is we need you so. on the road for several years, learned many things, conquered many fears. After that we raised our family. When they grew up, they said to you and me, we have made a plan to go on the road to discover what our future holds. That's when the summer sky began to cry. I saw the rain fall down from the bluest eyes. 'Cause we had made a vow in our younger days, if this day should come, we would never say, be afraid, stay here, be safe, don't go away to that other place. It's cold out there and the wind will blow. What we really mean is we'll miss you so. What we really mean is we need you so. What we really mean is go on, just go.
Beautiful, Don.
Thank you, Sarah.
Love it.
Really nice. Done.
Great one.
Deep tracks tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Deep tracks. All right, so
The heavy stuff.
say it again.
The heavy stuff.
Yeah, heavy stuff, right? But you know, I have like, you know, if you hear me on the radio, which I've got quite a lot of airplay over the years, that some people will come to me because I'm funny, and then they'll get there and realize there's that stuff mixed in. So I'm constantly keeping my poor fan base off balance here. Speaking of that, there's a woman named Sandra who comes almost every week, and she donates, and she's very kind to me, but she doesn't come, which doesn't know how to use Zoom. So I'm hoping that she's here because I want to play this song for her. This is something that she had asked me to play before, but I just want to play it for Sandra from New Hampshire, just to show my appreciation for, like I do for all you guys, for coming and everything. This is a song that I wrote in the 70s. That's right, in the 70s. I'm still playing it. Like most of the songs I wrote in the 70s have not stood the test of time. And this one probably should have been retired a while back, but for some reason, when I play it, even though I'm an old man now, I still feel it. I don't know why, but I do. I was born in the city of Lynn, home of the first turbine engine. And as if that wasn't enough, it's also the home of marshmallow fluff. You can travel the whole country, you'll never find a bigger fluff factory. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn just act this way. I don't talk slick like I'm from the Hant. I'm the son of a 30-year GE man. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? I used to hang around in Barry Park. That's illegal after it gets dark. Stand on the bleachers where things got smoked and beer got chugged, lug bottles got broke. Later in the evening when the police come, 27 juveniles are on the run. Juveniles are running everywhere you see, jumping over fences, climbing in trees. But Don is too loaded to get away. His name is in the paper. On the next day, his mother and his father just can't believe he would publicly humiliate the family. I said, Mom from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick. That's what I said. I'm not from Swampskin or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn. What can I say? On the corner of every street, somebody's cooking something greasy to eat. Deep fat is frying everywhere you look. The town is bound for the record books. Million sub shops open all night long. A socio-intestinal phenomenon. I still think that's the best line I ever wrote. Socio-intestinal intestinal phenomenon. It's like Shakespeare, really. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? Eat from Lynn, eat this way. There's no room in my stomach for French cuisine. Give me a bag of cheese curls and a submarine. Julia Child, get out of my face. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you know when a song has been around too long, when it actually has dead people living in it. I left Lynn 10 years ago. I did not know where I was gonna go. 10 of my friends were leaning up against the bar and grill. 10 years later, they're leaning there still. Half of my friends who are not on the street are dead in jail or annoying me. And I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way and don't talk slick. That's what I said. They won't even let me into Marblehead. They're afraid I'll steal something that I have in the past and I might in the future. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? Woo!
You're done. All right.
All right, Dawn.
All right.
I'm looking at you all now. I got this gallery view on. What a motley crew. Motley crew of associates. Representing all kinds of different parts of the country here today. Those of you on Facebook, let's see, on YouTube over there, welcome. You know, and those of you on Facebook over there, hello, thank you for participating. If you want to come over here into the Zoom part, which I consider here in front of me, Brandon, our technician, will put the information so that you can come over here. It's not a clickable link. And you have to cut and paste the information because when we put clickable links out into the internet, we get Zoom bombers, and those are hilarious. They come in and they have their little square and they behave like obscenely, you know, which to me I think it's hilarious, but it does upset some of my fragile fans, so we can't have them coming. So no clickable links out there in the world. We have to you have to cut and paste to get over here, but you can do it. We know it's because they have algorithms and you know I don't know, bots out there. All right. Here we go. September comes subtle. It's a chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater, 'cause I know what this means. Warm days are not over, but change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. The summer was fruitful, and the harvest looks good. Our family prospered like we hoped it would. Our struggles were many, and those struggles are done. Come sit by my side while the world tilts away from the sun. Away from the sun. Away from the sun. Most hardly notice, but we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. On a world full of wonder, we spin through the sky, loving, fighting, growing and wondering, oh why. While a big ball of fire above us looks down, shining a warm light upon us as we spin around and hardly notice, but we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. Let's spend all the money on laughter and song. Let's dance with these bodies till these bodies are gone. And when it's all over, you'll know it is true that my life only had meaning 'cause I got to share it with you. September comes subtle, chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater, I know what this means. Warm days are not over, but change has begun. Come dance with me while the world tilts away from the sun.
Beautiful, Don. Nice one.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you
Nice
so much.
job.
Really nice.
Thanks, Don.
Nice job, Don.
Beautiful.
Thank you to all of you, Marlene and Tommy for coming in every week from Nebraska, and for Neil and everybody, man. I just, so we were talking before about trying to get us all together somewhere. But I don't know about the logistics of that. I'm not sure that I'm worth an airplane and
Oh, yes.
hotel rooms and all that. I
We
tell you
know
what.
Sarah wants what
You're worth it, Don. Just tell us where and when.
How about Hawaii? Let's go there.
All right, on the way.
I tell you what, though. How about this as a baby step toward that? How about not on a Thursday? We have a friends only gathering like this where I'll play, but we can interact more. Do you know what I mean? Like it can be like a big meeting. We'll have like a Zoom party and see how we get along. How's that sound? Right? So
we can also I've got air miles, Don. We can get you out to Santa Fe.
So Tim is offering Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Tim and Shannon.
Yes.
So I haven't been there since the 70s. When I get to the chapter of Taos, New Mexico in my book, it's going to be the most unbelievable thing you've ever heard of in your life. I spent 2 months in a campground there with just an assortment of the dreamiest, hippiest, most tarot reading people you ever, they just one after another, they just kept landing in this campground with us, and that was not too far from Santa Fe. So Santa Fe, New Mexico is a possibility, but I'm thinking, whoever wants to help me with this, I'll just pick a night of the week that everyone agrees on, and we'll I don't want it to be just me playing. I'll play a little bit, but it could be more interactive, more like let's talk, tell stories, get to know each other a little bit. I mean, I consume most of the space in these events, right? I think that if we had one where I wasn't doing that, it was more open to everybody. I'd like to see how that felt, actually, just to get you all, see whether any romances would start, whatever.
Sounds great.
All right, so we'll do that.
I'm in.
All right, so Brandon, try to remind me of that so I don't forget about it.
Do it on a Monday. Make Monday worth living through.
It's not a bad idea, right? How about a Monday, right?
Hey, that's the night of my open mic, you guys.
All right, so Neil vetoes the Monday. It's not every Monday though, is it, Neil?
The second and the fourth Mondays. The other one, I'm fine with.
All right, so Neil acquiesces to the first and third Mondays as a possibility. So well, we don't need to do that in the middle of this show that I'm supposedly putting on now. We can discuss this offline some other time. So let me play one more song, then we'll get Tim Mason to do a poem. And you know what? I'm getting so comfortable doing this that it just feels right. It feels like I'm at home, kind of. Well, hey, guess what? I am at home. Deep Tracks. This was on an album in 1990, maybe something like that. It's another one that Christina and I would have sung together or have sung in the past together. They both took their dreams and laid them to sleep soon after their children were born. Because you need to provide kids a stable environment, you need to be steady and strong. But occasionally he will wake up his dreams to see how they feel in his hands, and then he puts them away and goes to work the next day, an ordinary family man. Ordinary people will lay down their dreams knowing they may not see them again. They do it for their families with strength and dignity. Ordinary women and men. Ordinary women and men. She never thought twice about devoting her life to take care of her daughter and son. And she works every night at a job she don't like. She does whatever needs to be done. But occasionally she will dress up her dreams and ask them if they'd like to dance. And for an hour or so she lets herself hold her beautiful dreams in her hands. Ordinary people will lay down their dreams knowing they may not see them again. They do it for their families with strength and dignity. Ordinary women and men. Ordinary women and men. Now they sit with each other and they wait and they wonder on the day their first grandchild is born. And those dreams seem so distant. Now everything is different and they know they are right where they belong. When the child is passed to them, a light passes through them and they both know, they both understand. And as they cradle that baby, they think they just may be an ordinary woman and man who are holding their dream in their hands. Ordinary people will lay down their dreams knowing they may not see them again. They do it for their families with strength and dignity. Ordinary women and men. Ordinary women and men. Ordinary women and men.
Beautiful, Don.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
love it.
I have to tell you, I was in my 20s when I wrote that song. right?
Never gets old, Don.
What did I know about like grandchildren? Now I have grandchildren that are almost as old as I was when I wrote that song. They're closer to it than I am to when I wrote it, you know? So I don't know what that means. It's all just very surreal. All right, so this is what's going to happen now, ladies and gentlemen. I have just one of the things that I've really been happy with is how this thing is shaped up for me to be able to introduce you to my friends in other genres. So we're gonna have our spoken word corner. Then we're gonna take a short break. If you can donate something toward the food bill, that would be great. But don't, no pressure. Don't worry about that. But I'm going to introduce to you Tim Mason. He comes quite often, and I pulled him in to do some poems and stuff like that. But he's a really important person in my life and in the life of many artists. He ran a venue called the Oviana Coffee House, and could go on and on about it, but it's really where my career started. He allowed me to open for other people until I got to fill the room myself, and I basically just sort of built my career out from there. And he was dedicated to developing talent, which is I have to say, a thankless job, really. Do you know what I mean? You develop them, they move on, whatever. But he designed the whole thing there to do that. But in addition to that, he was the first person that ever told me what a slam poet was, what slam poetry was, which blew the top of my head off, and I wound up being totally committed to learning as much as I could about that. I recommend it highly if you don't know anything about it. The International Slam Contest, the most explosively creative things on earth right now, I think. So he was in the original. I think he can tell me if I'm wrong about this. I believe it was the original slam team from Cambridge, Massachusetts, the first year that there was a national slam, and they won. Him and Ray McNeese and those guys. So he's just dedicated his life to words and to poetry and to music, and he's just a good friend to everybody. So he's gonna do a piece right now for us. So please unmute yourselves as many as we can, and give a nice round of applause to Timothy Mason.
Hey, Tim! Hey, good to see you again.
Hey, Jim, welcome.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Don. And yes, Poetry Slam and Old Vienna and Passim. Every 13 years, my club would go sideways and make sure that I knew it was not lucrative. So after that happened twice, I decided to embark on a different career. And unfortunately, I found something that pays me. And it involves doing taxes, among other things. So I am really, really happy to be this side of the tax-friendly deadline and to be back with real people. So thank you very much for allowing me to re-enter the social world. One of the themes that you have, Don, you touch on family a lot. And that sort of put me in mind of some times I visited my family. There was a point where I got to spend some time with my father, and I got to shake out the branches of the family tree a little bit. And I got to ask him about his grandfather. Now, it turns out he had never met his grandfather, because when his older brother was born, my great-grandpa thought that it would behoove him to hop on the first freight train out of Tucumcari, New Mexico, and was headed back to St. Joseph, Missouri. And that's what he had set out to do. Grabbed hold of the train there for a moment, lost his grip, ended up on the tracks, and that was it for my great-grandpa. So my great-grandfather was a hobo. Apparently not a very good one, but he was a hobo. And his son took after his dad. So my grandpa, when he was a teenager, he would ride the rails with this pint of whiskey tucked in his pocket and leave grandma to fend for herself. And she did, too. My aunt was fathered by grandpa's brother. Then on mom's side of the family, religious conviction goes way back. In the late 1600s, great grandpa to the nth degree, he was run out of Europe for his preaching. His grandson was a conscientious objector in the Revolutionary War. And today, my cousins, they keep the faith by living simply, riding in buggies, and staying out the way of progress. So all I inherited from my family was this bad set of Scottish genes and a streak of Amish conviction to do battle with it. In China, I would revere this as the ancestors speaking through me, the ancestors, the honorable and the assholes, debating, each imparting the wisdom they had found, desperate for me to express it, and in so doing to honor them. But this ain't China. And listening to dead people speak to your blood will get you certified crazy like the way if you talk about it. So, fourth or fifth generation, my brothers and I would cling to our Euro, Afro, Asian roots as if us had stepped from. We fly the flag, ethnic pride, forgetting it now. We are North American. And not hearing what the ancestors in our blood have to say, symbolically, we embrace the heritage we are creating, writing our history in sound bites and in headlines, and hoping, praying to be heard in our children's blood. The coda to that is, this is a poem I wrote decades ago as well. And I would take my daughter around and she would hear me say that. And eventually she turned 18 and she thought about going to college for 5 minutes or so and then decided to go hop the rails. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Can't you even think about a little college credit? And she's like, Dad, come on. I'm just carrying on a family tradition. So I couldn't really argue with that. And eventually she did settle down, decided to go to trade school, become older, and she parked. And then she calls me up one day and she's like, I'm getting a license. This reaction was, ooh, driver's license? That's dangerous. So it's all about perspective there. Thank you very much.
Woo! Thanks, Tim.
All right, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Very nice.
Woo!
Ride the
Tim,
rails.
Tim, why don't you ask Ruby to come on sometime? She plays music, right? She's a banjo player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get her to come on. I'd like to hear a song, but I wanted to talk to her about riding the rails. Like she did it like the way that we hitchhiked, right? Like she was on the rails for a long time, right?
Yeah, she was on the rails for 5 years.
I believe
And she still touches on it. The thing that's amazing about that culture is like the hitchhiking culture, there was no room for sticking around. It screwed up on the rails. You really stopped, and the consequences were huge. So it actually kind of brought together a pretty nice little alternative. I've been impressed when I've met her friends, how organized together they are.
Oh, well, so I'd like to see her and talk to her. That's Tim Mason. Let's give him a nice round of applause, everybody.
Hey, Tim, good to see
Thank
you
you.
again, my friend.
You too, Neil.
So Tim, if you're around in the after party, we'd love to get you to do another thing. Also, I'm gonna see if you can't get on a thing that's closer to your router, because you're breaking up just a little bit there with your Wi-Fi. All right, thank you, Tim Mason, everybody, and I'm gonna take just a 2-minute break here. If you can donate a couple of a couple bucks to us, that'll be great. We'll go grocery shopping tomorrow. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll play till about 20 past, maybe 25 past. Then we'll have our after party, and I think that there's going to be some collaborating between Tim and Christina and all kinds of cool stuff happening. So you want to hang around for that if you can. I'll be back just shortly, and thank you, everybody. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi everybody. How you doing? Welcome back. Thanks to everybody that was able to throw a few bucks my way. Appreciate it. I'll be thinking of you when I'm walking down the noodle aisle tomorrow. um, Tim made me think of this story. I'm trying to practice this story up because I'm doing some gigs pretty soon. Real gigs. So those of you that are anywhere near New Hampshire, really would love it if you would help me spread the word about a show that I'm doing at the Tupelo Music Hall outside. It's a drive-in show. So you drive into the parking lot, set up next to your car. They'll set a table up for you. They have a little cart that'll come around and serve you alcohol, which always makes my show better, by the way, just in case you know. And that's on July 2nd. There's only 75 cars that they'll let in. I forget what the price is, but it's like you cram as many people in your car as you want, and it's it can be, it's a, but check it out, Tupelo Music Hall. It's in Derry, New Hampshire, July 2nd. It's the Friday, and it'll be my first time performing in front of a live audience since I played for Alan D. Bay, who's here today in Kansas, March 15th of last year, year and months ago. So here we go. So everybody unmute as many as you can, because I'm going to tell this story, and I kind of, as I say, and I like to feel you. I want to feel you. Literally and figuratively, I want to feel you, boys and girls. So let's get as many people unmuted as we can, and let me tell this story that Tim made me think of when he was talking about his grandparents. This is the story about my dad, Larry White. Larry White was a cigarette smoking, whiskey drinking, gin rummy playing, 40 years as a rigger and a crane man at the General Electric in Lynn, Massachusetts. Manly man. If I ever brought him to a folk concert on Zoom, his molecules wouldn't hold together. He would dissipate into thin air. He couldn't understand anything. Poetry? What are you kidding me? Like that. That was my dad. He never did one thing he was supposed to do in order to live a long time. Nothing. He hadn't cracked a sweat since the 50s. He hadn't eaten a vegetable since World War II. He smoked cigarettes with no filter on them and drank Seagram 7 whiskey and ate red bloody meat and potatoes. He just kept living. Right? In one of my last good conversations with him, he said to me, "Johnny," that's the way he talked. "Johnny, my dad, we couldn't." Let me go off script for a minute. When he died, we couldn't find a photograph of him over the age of 12 where there wasn't a cigarette in his hand. Not one, right? No, and so he talked like that. Donnie. He talked like he had a pile of smoke right here all the time, right? Like, "Donnie, I found a new fried clam place." That's what he said to me. I'm like, "Dad, what did your doctor say about eating fried clams?" He's like, "My doctor?" I'm like, "Yeah." "The one that told me to stop eating fried clams?" I'm like, "Yeah." "He died 20 years ago." You want to live to be 82? Come on, let's go get some food that's been dropped in boiling oil, breaded and dropped in boiling oil. That's the secret to a long life, son. So that was my dad. My dad and my mother grew up here in this town. My mother was from the brickyard over there where all the Greeks were, and my dad was over here on the Irish side. And so, and they, so being Irish and Greek was not a common combination. As we all know, those two nationalities are forbidden from reproducing.
Yeah.
for good reason, as you can see before you now. Right? So, but that's what's in my blood, is the two people that we're not going to be told what to do by anybody in a time when it was hard to not be told what to do by your church, by your family. My grandfather, John Soteropoulos, was the sexton at the St. George Greek Orthodox Church in Lynn. He was the guy that made sure there was a 50-gallon bucket of frankincense in there so that Father Myhos could asphyxiate the congregation every Sunday. Honestly, people, we have to get more people unmuted. I'm gonna wind up getting bored here. I can see you laughing, but I can't hear you. Right? So there's a 50-gallon bucket of frankincense so Father Myhos could asphyxiate the congregation. Have you ever been to the Greek church? Anybody? Like, you're in there 20 minutes, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Right? And then it's a very delicate balance that Father Myhos had to do every Sunday, because if you asphyxiate the congregation into total unconsciousness, it's bad for business. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not awake to put the money in the plate when it goes by. But so he would, every Sunday, my grandfather would help Father Myhos asphyxiate the congregation into a state of semi-consciousness where they'd be conscious enough to be able to put money in the plate when it went by, but not conscious enough to realize that the church service at St. George Greek Orthodox Church every Sunday is 5 hours long.
Oh my God.
Have mercy.
It never ends. It never ends. It never ends. And when he found out that his daughter was marrying, of all things, a Catholic, he lost his mind. The top of his head opened up, and all his mind just shot out into just splattered against the wall. He couldn't believe it. He was sure all his grandchildren were going to hell. Turns out he was right about that. But for reasons he could have never dreamed of, right? So that's what I'm descended from. This unholy cross-pollination of cultures, Greek and Irish, and my dad was unbelievable. They both had like an attitude of be yourself, let them deal with it. That was the theme around our house, right? And it's benefited me tremendously in this world, I have to tell you. And so I'm going to tell you a story about my dad. So one of the things that you wouldn't know if you weren't from around here was that Lynn in particular, Boston in general, and East Coast, urban East Coast, sort of in general as well, there's this thing that is not the same in other parts of the country, and that is if we like you, we rib you. Like my best friends say the meanest things to me. Do you know what I mean? But there's a way of doing it, and you don't realize that other people from the other parts of the country don't know how to do it until they try to do it, and you're just like, oh no, stop, please, you can't do with that, right? So it's very natural for us. So here's the thing that you need to know if you came from the Midwest, say, or some reasonably civilized part of the world, and you were hanging out with us. Two things. One, if we're picking on you, that means we like you. Right? And if we're quiet, you really should leave. So I'm in my 40s. I go to my dad's house. It's just me and him there. It's in the late afternoon, and I start teasing him. I forget what I said, but it probably had to do with, maybe he shouldn't have drank so much when he was raising us, or something like that. But I didn't think, I always thought we would just be, it was within the realm of what we do, right? Just the sort of playful family teasing. But I was wrong. It pissed him off. And right away, I could tell by the look on his face. Those of you watching on a bigger screen, hopefully you can see this, because I'll channel him now. I said something about, making fun of him as a dad, basically, his parenting style, right? And he stopped for a second, and he gave me this look here. I'll just channel him. It looked like this. Oh my God. I felt so afraid. I was overmatched, completely overmatched. I knew I had crossed the line. There was nothing I could do about it. I felt like a pantomime stuck in behind a glass. I couldn't get out. And I knew he was going to educate me, and I knew there was nothing I could do about it. I had to just sit there and take it, right? And so he said to me, "Did you have a bicycle when you were a kid?" I go, "Yeah, I had a bicycle. I had a bicycle. You bought it for me." He goes, "Did you ride around the town on the bicycle with your friends?" I go, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I did." He goes, "I am so happy for you." He goes, I always wanted a bicycle. I wanted to ride around the town with my friends on my bicycle. He goes, but my father left me when I was 13 years old. I was the oldest person in the family. I had to go to work at Sabanti's Bakery at 3:30 in the morning and make muffins until I went to school, then come back after school and work until supper time because I was the breadwinner at 12 and 13 years old. And I would see other kids riding their bikes around, Lynn waving and laughing and having fun. I always wanted to do that. Never got to do it. Had to go to work. He goes, but you got to do that, and I am so happy. He leaned up close to me, for you. Like that, right?
Oh.
So then he said to me, have you ever been cold? I go, Dad, I see what you're doing. Like I'm aware of what you're doing. He goes, have you ever been cold? I go, no. He goes, I was cold. He said, my mother used to put the Jell-O next to my bed at night because it was colder in my bedroom than it was in the icebox. He said, we'd wake up in the morning and the Jell-O and the children sleeping in the beds would both be frozen. He said. And he said, but now I think about it, there's always been oil in the furnace, the radiator's always been warm, and you have never been cold one day in your life. And you had a bicycle to ride around on with your friends. I am so happy for you. So I started out like 5'8" in this thing, but now he's sort of strategically, surgically whittled me down, so I'm about the size of a Ken doll now. You know what I mean? Right? So I'm in the kitchen, and now the sun had gone down, and it was dark. And he had been standing in the doorway of the living room. And so now he walks into the dark kitchen and walks past me and opens up the refrigerator into this dark room. I'm sitting over here, and he's in front of me over here. And he opens the refrigerator up, and the refrigerator light silhouettes his gigantic Irish head, right? You know, it's like he looked like a religious icon, like you could almost hear the refrigerator going, oh, like that, right? I'm like, this is a master work. This is a master class. I'm like, this guy is really showing me how this is done, right? So now he's talking to the refrigerator. He's not looking at me. He's talking to the milk and the eggs. He's like, have you ever been hungry? And I'm like, no, Dad, I've never been hungry. I was hungry. He said, we ate mayonnaise sandwiches for days upon days upon days. He said, my mother used the same tea bag for 10 cups of tea. He goes, but you, never hungry, never cold, and you had a bicycle to ride around on with your friend. I am so happy for you. Like that. So now I'm the size of a mouse, right? And he turns around and he's gonna finish me off, right? Like, when he was standing there about to walk over to me, I thought about how smart he was, because he didn't yell at me. So when somebody yells at you, you can defend yourself against that. You know, when somebody is yelling at you, you're not defending yourself against the point they're trying to make. You don't even know the point. You're defending yourself against being yelled at, right? You're saying, stop yelling at me, right? And so you can defend yourself against that. So, but he was like, you know, galaxies beyond that rudimentary behavior, right? He was just surgically whittling me down. It was like he was asking me a question. Do you ever have this? No. Oh, you did have it. Oh, that's good. You know, little by little, asking me a question. You know, just doing that, and I couldn't defend myself. And so he walks over to me now. He's got ham and cheese in his hand, and he leaned up close to me like this, right? You know, probably this far from me, which is a very intimidating Lynn thing to do. Like it's a tough guy thing to do, right? You know, like he put his arm on the table like this, and he leaned in so I could smell the cigarettes on his breath, right? You know, right? And he said, He said, put the dog out, and then I need to talk to you. Came over and he said to me, you can say whatever you want about how I raised you. He goes, I'm a full-grown man. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to hurt me. There's nothing you can say. Nothing you can say is going to make me stop loving you. He goes, I went to war. I got a great big full life. I'm not afraid of you, and it has virtually no effect on me. Basically, right? But I have to tell you something, and I can't believe that you're 40 years old, and I have to explain this to you. He said, when I was a kid, this life that you had, never hungry, never cold, had toys at Christmas time, didn't have, could ride around with your friends and laugh and sing and have fun and not have to go to work at 12 years old. And he started pounding on the table, and never stop working till you retire at 65. He said, you never were cold, never were hungry, never had to go to work, had toys, had a good life. He goes, this life that you had with all of that in it, not only did I not have it, but I'm telling you the truth, I didn't know it was possible. He goes, it would have been beyond my ability to dream of this life that you are criticizing me for giving you. So now, you need a microscope to find me. Like I've been reduced to molecular level, right? Like this. I mean, just I'm Lint now, right? Basically, right? Like Lint. And now he's gonna finish me off as the end of this dramatic, this master class in how to get somebody to never speak to you the way they just did. That's what it was. It was a master class in how to make sure that you never get talked to by this person again that way, right? And he said, he took the ham and the cheese and he dropped it on the table in front of me. He didn't slam it. That would have been too dramatic. He just dropped it like that. It went pow, like that. And then he said, you look hungry. Make a sandwich. And he walked in the living room. And sat in like the dad chair like this with a big grin on his face, thinking to himself, that's how you do that.
Ta-da!
All right,
Hey,
boys
Dad.
and girls. That's going to
Hey,
conclude. Go ahead. Talk. We can have commentary.
Yay, Larry.
Go, Larry. Right? I miss that guy a lot. He's a good guy. He was a handful, but so was his son. So was his dad. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's in the blood. So that's the end of my part of this thing here. I want to take a minute and thank everybody. I want to thank Jill from Minnesota on Facebook and Sandra. I hope you were there. I played this song for you from New Hampshire, and everybody on all the different platforms. This means so much to me. I mean, it's not much money. I appreciate anybody that can drop a couple bucks in here, but I pay Brandon, and if there's money left over, we buy food with it. So, but it gives me a chance to see you all and to practice these stories, because I'm going back on the road. I'm going back out there. I'm gonna keep doing this, but I'm going out there in person, and I'm gonna have, like, you know how people at the end of their concerts will have like a CD signing line. I'm gonna have a hug line. Just come and hug the folk singer. He's been waiting a long time for it. So I'm gonna take another 3-minute break again. If you got a few bucks and you can drop it in the hat. If you want to mail me something, like we have the mailing thing up there, because people my age, sometimes we take money and we try to push it into the computer to figure like where is the hole that the $10 bill goes in, and we can't figure it out. So you can put it in an envelope and mail to me. And I love getting mail. I love getting mail in cursive. Like I hold it up to my to young people, and I'm like, look, a secret language. Right? So and then I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll have our after party. So thanks everybody. I much love to you all.
Hey, Don. Yo.
right, boys and girls, welcome back. Look at that. All right, so now it's our after party, and this is the most fun for me. And I'm, I just been thinking of everyone that I miss out there in the world, and I just try to put them together so I can see them and hear them. If you can hear me, just go like this, just so I can show you. All right, thank you. So we're gonna start with my friend Nick Zano. So Nick Zano, we need to do a little sound check for you because we didn't get to check you earlier. So let's spotlight Nick for a second.
Okay.
Play a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
That sound good?
Yeah, sing a little bit.
Sing it. Are we really as close as I think we are?
Nick, can you bring your guitar down just a hair and your vocal up just a hair?
Yep.
All right, so this is Nick Zano. This is a dear friend of mine. He's helped me a lot with my business and all that, but he's also his genres are the most diverse of anybody I've ever met. Like, he's got a music career. He's been putting an EP out. We're going to talk about that later. He writes great songs, but he also is a comedy writer. He for the Boston Globe and for freelancing magazines all over the place. He has interviewed every comedian you can imagine, including George Carlin multiple times, right? And everybody. And so he's like a connoisseur of comedy, which is just a whole mouthful of words right there. And then his other secret life is that he writes like horror stories, right? Like,
Yes.
right?
Short stories mostly now, yeah.
Short stories about zombies and horror stories, right? So comedy, horror, and folk music. That's the trifecta if I ever saw it.
Well, I try to build around like things so that I can go for that direct core audience.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here. Why don't you play a song to get us started off here, and then when we go around the second round, we'll talk a little bit about your EP and other stuff, okay? So, go ahead.
All right. Well, actually, I'll switch then. I was going to play one from the EP, but I'll do that later. I'll start off with one from the last album. This one's last album is called Habitual Salvation. Come along, just for the ride, and I'll stay with you all night. Leave these gods and goddesses and the worn out shores. We got nothing but ourselves to live for. And if we drown, so be it. I'm not afraid of what comes next. you.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. Great
All
job.
right, Nick.
Thank you.
I love that song.
Thank you.
Love it.
That was great, Nick. So, Nick, you'll hang around, and next time around we'll talk a little bit. That work for you?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, one more time for Nick Zano, everybody. There you go.
Thank you.
Great job.
All right, so now I'm gonna introduce you to something my favorite singer. It's like when I need vocals or when I want somebody to sing, on my albums, she's my first phone call always. It used to be in the day it was Maria Sangiolo, but she moved too far away. And then Christina is really one of the best singers that I know. She's also a great guitar player and a great songwriter. She performs with her sister Meredith. They're twins. And so when they sing together, oh man, they can move, they can change the atoms in the building. So I'm just delighted to know them all. And so Christina, welcome. And why don't you play a song to get us started off here with your part of this thing?
Sure. Thanks so much, Don, and so great to hear Don, hear Tim Mason, hear other people as well. So it's just such a beautiful time of year. I love this time of year. It's like everything is blooming and new. And I was walking around years ago this time of year, and I thought, you know what? It's like the air is blowing kisses, the wind is blowing kisses. So this is called "Gather the Sun." The first I remember is the scent of wet earth as it overtakes the snow. Oh, but then the sharp cold winter, it reminds me we have so long to go. But down beneath the white snow, hanging in the shadows, is a promise deep and true, waiting in the warm earth to begin the rebirth anew. It starts with a seed that needs to reach for the sky, and the roots dig down deeper to the ground, and the shoots weave their way through the soil to the sun. It starts when the sun stirs the wind in the sky, and the buds on the trees open up their eyes as the leaves stretch their palms out to gather the sun. And topaz of the sun shines on the emerald green beneath the sapphire sky. Everything is open, even up above us the blue is twice as high. Moonlight sifts gently through the canopy of the shimmering tourmaline green. Can you feel the soft, sweet kisses that the breeze blows? Springtime again. How the sunlight's long fingers hold on to forever afternoons, fading so gently into the evening, sliding to deeper blue. And the way the sun weaves light through the leaves into a seeming tapestry. Can you feel the warm, sweet kisses that the breeze blows? 'Cause it's springtime again. It starts with a seed that needs to reach for the sky, and the roots dig down deeper to the ground as the shoot weaves its way through the soil to the sun. It starts when the sun stirs the wind in the sky, and the buds on the trees open up their eyes, and the leaves stretch their palms out to gather the sun, the sun, the sun.
Oh, beautiful, Chris. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Everything's blooming after that song. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Christina. So you'll hang around and we'll have a good old-fashioned conversation just like we used to in the old days. All right, next time around. One more time for Christina Thompson-Lively, everybody.
Awesome job.
So I think it's time that we get our poet back. So Tim, how you doing with your technology? I understand that it was. Is Tim?
It's wonderful Santa Fe internet. I've got it Ethernet plugged in, and
let's give it a shot. Right now, you sound okay. Do you want to Do you want to do that piece and use your visuals? This might be a good time.
Yeah, I think so. So I've got visual aids to go along with this. I created it for Chris Chandler and never got a chance to use it, but here it goes. See, I believe things should be started with dessert, and it's chocolate. It's the heart of chocolate. Cheesecake, mousse, cookie and pie, homemade hot fudge, thick and creamy, dribbling over the melting Haagen-Dazs perched on the chocolate croissant. Oh, chocolate thing, take us into the heart of chocolate where the calories are natural and don't amount to much if you count by threes. Swiss and Belgium, Godiva, Dove chipped from 50-pound blocks into chunks, wrapped in cookie dough, baked and served warm. Only one bite takes us into the heart of chocolate.
Yes, oh man. Bravo.
I
Woo!
love that.
Yeah.
Tim,
Oh,
Tim,
no.
you boosted my blood sugar. Thank you very much.
I'm having a food gasm over here.
Everyone.
Oh man, that was awesome. Thank you, Tim. One more time for Tim Mason. Oh man.
From the chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, in my gallery view, I want to acknowledge Alan DeBay from Kansas, and then he's got some weird guy from over his shoulder there. That photograph, just so you know, is from it was a house concert. That was a glass mural, all put together with pieces of glass in somebody's house in Edmonton, Alberta. Just so you want to, you know, I haven't been outside of my house since 2 years, but I was at one time traveling to Alberta. There we go. So thanks, Alan, and watch out for that guy behind you. He's liable to lift your wallet. All right, let's go around one more time. At this time, let's talk a little bit here. So, Nick Zano, tell us about your EP. So this is going to be, I think you have two CDs out now, or there at least two, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 CDs out and this EP and a couple of singles. I'm hoping to put out more singles, just that I record at home here in between albums, because it gets expensive to get into a studio. But then the new EP is taken from the same session that produced my last album, Habitual Salvation.
All right, so hang on one second. Brandon, is it Nick that's making that sound? The watery sound there?
Hang on one second. Yes, it is.
All right, so Nick, you got
Got a little background hum.
a background hum there. You gotta, that's okay. I mean, just so we know where it's coming from. All right, so when can we see this new EP?
The new EP comes out next Friday, and it's all acoustic and acoustic guitar and voice. I did 15 songs in one session over the course of about 11 hours, and that's the last album and this EP.
When you get to the 15th song, will the listener be able to hear the fatigue in your voice?
That's why that's the only song that's not going to be released. It was fun to do. I just sat down and I had a list. I just sort of went through it and practiced. And
people can get it at your website, nickzano.com. Is that what it is? Or
on Bandcamp. You can pre-order it now on nickzano.bandcamp.com and get the first single.
So before you play, do you mind? I think you can turn your guitar down just a little bit from that last time.
Yeah, I turned it down. Is that a little bit? Is that better?
It still needs. It doesn't sound any quieter.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Okay.
the same. Still more.
There's no, it's not going direct, so that's coming through this. I'll just have to play a little quieter then.
Okay.
That's
So, why don't you play something for us from the new EP, Nick?
All right, so the new EP is 4 songs. It's sort of a cycle that goes through devotion, rejection, anger, and resignation. And since rejection is the most fun, I'll play rejection. This is called Here's a Moon. Are we really as close as I think we are? Or are you just light from some distant fading star? Blew out long ago. I wasn't there, so I won't know till the light is, till the light is completely gone. I'll still be here, reflecting that light, looming somewhere behind the night, casting shadows, spinning highs and lows, until the light is, until the light is completely gone. I will be your human movement, no emotions of my own. That's what it takes to keep from being alone. I have given you my memory, I've given you my soul. How should I feel without this? Here's the moon, said that's what you wanted. I think someone's calling Carol Ann from the other side there, isn't it? Here's a moon, think it's hard to take for granted. Love you never knew. I'll still be here, reflecting that light, looming somewhere behind the night, casting shadows, spinning highs and lows, till the light is, till the light is completely gone. Here's the moon, said that's what you wanted. That's what I'm giving you. Here's a moon, guess it's hard to take for granted. Love you never knew. Love you never knew.
Nice job, Nick.
All right.
Thank
Nick.
you.
Nice job.
Woo!
That was great, Nick. Good luck with that new recording. So we'll go around one more time, and one more time, everybody, for Nick Zano. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Awesome, my friend.
Hey, Nick.
All right, Christina Thompson. Let's talk a little bit here. During sound check, we were talking about the fact that you, upon hearing one of Tim Mason's songs, put
Poems.
some music, put some music to it. Am I right to say that? Is that right?
Yeah, this was years ago now. We so I, as you know, I sing with my sister Meredith, and we heard Tim Mason say this poem that gently like water cracking stone, and I just loved that image and the the introduction that he did to the poem, and it was just so powerful. So we wrote that into a song, and we told Tim about it, and then somehow it hasn't made it onto, like, we have 7 recordings. That hasn't made it onto one, but I am recording it now for Tim, in GarageBand, and it's taking me a little while because I'm putting all these overdubs on it. But yeah, and I just thought, he's here tonight. I want him to do the intro, and then I'll play this song. And
Well, how about that? Like that's this is like what would happen in a regular show, isn't it? So here we're using technology here. So Tim, why don't you give us the introduction to like Water, Crack, and Stone, and then we'll hear Christina put some music to the actual poem.
That's wonderful, and it's great. I'm so honored that you actually took my non-rhyming writings and turned it into a song. So this is good. It goes back to tell you how old I am. It goes back to a time when political rhetoric was worth listening to. And it starts out, it is from numberless, diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a person takes a stand for an ideal, or acts to improve the lives of others, or strikes out against injustice, that person sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. That was first spoken by Robert Kennedy at the University of Cape Town in 1966.
gently like water, cracking stone. 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 The drop that finds the granite's fault and changes the face of the mountain with persistence and patience. With persistence and patience, the drop that finds the granite's fault changes the face of the mountain with persistence and patience. With persistence and patience, gently like water, cracking stone. 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 Man, that joke just ain't funny. In the locker room was silent as he closed the door behind him. Man, that joke just ain't funny. In the locker room was silent as he closed the door behind him. Gently like water, cracking stone. Gently like water, cracking stone. Gently like water, cracking. Gently like water, cracking stone. 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 Gently like water, cracking stone.
Oh, Chris, that was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Mason for that
Gorgeous.
poetry.
Tim, beautiful. Wow, what a team.
Love
What
it.
Man,
Awesome.
that might be one of the best moments we've ever had here, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. To my taste, anyway, to my liking it. That's the kind of magic that happens in the world when you put artists together. And boys and girls, we're going to be putting artists together here pretty soon. Totally vaccinated artists are going to be getting together and doing things like that very soon. Oh boy. Let's hear one more time for Tim Mason and Christina Thompson Lively.
We have like a neon sign, live vaccinated artists, blinking. Live Vax show.
You need a barker out front for that.
Call it the Green Light District.
Good one.
All right, so I asked my friend Brian if he'd like to do one here, so he said that he would. Brian, what do you think about that? Brian Dozer in the house. Can you do a tune for us there, Brian?
Sure.
Hey, Brian, good to see you.
It is right there.
Yeah, right here. Got it. Well, I think I should do a very serious song for everyone, okay? Just kidding. You may have heard this before, but I don't know. I'm in the mood to play this one tonight. It's called I'm Sorry That I'm Not Sorry. I made sure I stayed in tune for you. There. Well, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't be like you. I've done an awful lot of things in my life like other people do. But I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't act that way. But I'm the one that I gotta live with 24 hours a day. My parents came over to visit and they made me clean my room. Mom said, hey, what a nice kitchen, and she handed me the broom. Then she said, I'll cook up a nice dinner while your daddy cuts your hair. This is what they heard me say as I very kindly escorted them down the stairs. I've changed that since I've gotten older and have children of my own. I said, Mom, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't be like you. I've done an awful lot of things in my life like other people do. But I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't act that way. But I'm the one that I gotta live with 24 hours a day. I went to music school to really hone my trade. They said there's only two things wrong with you, the way you look and the way you play. They said we'll give you this piece of paper if you can sing like Placido. They said, yes, that's it, you got it. And I said, no, I'm gonna be a struggling folk singer and do children's music for the rest of my life, no matter what you tell me. I said, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't sing like you. I've done an awful lot of things in my life like other people do. But I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't sing that way. But I really can. But, you know, that's the irony of it all, isn't it? I'm the one that I gotta live with 24 hours a day. I think you're getting the tone of this. Got pulled over with a busted taillight while driving into town. A policeman was pushing up in my face like some big old clown. I said, hey, Dunkin' Donuts broth, ain't your coffee getting stale? Very sensitive subject. This is what they heard me say from my cell inside the jail. I've actually had an experience where I had a good friend in the car with me and I was pulled over. It was the light above my license plate. And I was very effusive, I guess is a good word. I was like, yes, officer. Oh, my goodness, I didn't know. Oh, you're not going to give me a ticket? That's so nice. And he left, and my friend turned to me and said, what was that? Like, who are you? I said, you know, once you have one experience, it's all it takes. You learn to be nice. But the next day I said, Your Honor, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't be like you. I've done an awful lot of things in my life like other people do. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't act that way. But I'm the one that I gotta live with 24 hours a day. All right, everyone, I'd even invite you to unmute and sing this just so it's out of tune, out of time. Feel free. It goes like this. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't be like you. I've done an awful lot of things. I've done an awful lot of things in my life like other people do. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I can't act that way. Big finish now, but I'm the one that I gotta live with 24 hours a day.
Brian.
Yeah.
Hey.
I like that.
Thank you.
You know, I really
Thanks for singing along.
I really missed the line where you kick your parents down the stairs, Brian.
I know. It just seems so harsh now, doesn't it?
This is what
I never kicked my parents down the stairs.
That's the song they heard when I kicked them down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I grew up a little. But I did call a police officer Dunkin' Donuts breath, and I was arrested.
That'll do it.
For getting up. He got in my face, and I said, Hey, Dunkin' Donuts breath, get out of my face. And it was like, flip, click, click, and off I went.
Oh, boy.
You know, it's too bad that couldn't have been foreseen.
You know, I have I taught college audio for 30 years, and in fact, I just saw a posting by some Facebook former students, right? And the one rule I had to them was, you know, they were like, "How can I be a successful engineer or a musician or whatever?" And I said, "Well, the golden rule that I had to learn slowly because I had to beat it in my head is just don't be an a-hole, and you'll be fine, right?" Just show up and be nice and do your job, and people will love you.
I know a good story. Oh, I have to say this. Thank you for... Let's hear it one more time for Brian Dozer. That was lovely, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Oh, sure, man. Anytime. Brian's a good friend of mine, a good engineer. He helps with the tech sometimes. He's just a good guy. He also does a children's show 3 days a week, Brian. If you got little guys, he's the music man. It's fantastic. He does ABC and you know, makes me want to learn how to play it. All right. So there was let's see, DC Fitzgerald. I'm not sure he's still alive. He was out of Pittsburgh. He toured with a he was the opening act for a guitar player, singer who, Brian, I'll tell you the guy's name later, but I don't want to say his name now. But he was notoriously rude to the sound guys, right? Like every place that they went, he would infuriate the sound guy. And DC started making an extra $20 a night by saying to the bartender, "I'll bet you $20 that my showing I can make money that way," because the sound guy is there every night and he doesn't care who you are. Once you've upset him and, you know, called him a jerk or whatever, he just turns up the suck button. You know, there's a new guy coming in tomorrow. So yeah, be nice. It's not that hard. All right, so we're trying to wrap this thing up around 9:30. So let's do our lightning round. So lightning round doesn't mean anything. You can play whatever you want, you know, short of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, I guess, or, you know, something that, you know, just do whatever you want. What it means is that I'm not going to be flapping my lips in between your songs. So on your mark, get set, go Nick Zano, go.
Oh. My harmonica harness wasn't in place. I'll cut the drum solo out of this one. All right, this is one I know Don likes, and I'll play here. It's called Live Through You. I've lived through a root canal, lived through a spinal tap, lived through a heart attack, and I can live through you. Made it through my summer jobs, made it through public school. I made it through state school. I can live through you. Yeah, I may be stumbling. Yeah, I'm a little drunk. Yes, I left my friends, filled my head with junk. Yes, I've seen some sorrow, and I've seen some sin, and I've seen my blood enough to wonder what could do me in. Talk to a Democrat, talk to a Republican. I'll never do that again, but I can live through you. Yeah. I've lived in small towns, and I've lived the city life, the subtle trauma of suburban strife, and I can live through you. I made it through gym class, I made it through the school dance. Neither gave me half a chance, but I can live through you. Yeah, I may be stumbling. Yeah, I'm a little drunk. Yes, I left my friends, filled my head with junk. Yes, I've seen some sorrow, and I've seen some sin, and I've seen my blood enough to wonder what could do me in. I made it through my first kiss, and I've caught some cold fish. I might have a death wish, but I can live through you. I can live through you. I can live through you. I can live through you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. When I do this at the grocery store, they throw fruit, so I'm glad to be here.
You know the story about throwing tomatoes, right, Nick? That's okay as long as you take them out of the cans first. Hey,
Yeah. And free tomatoes, you know.
free tomatoes.
Who
Right?
am I to look down at that?
I mean, Nick, I love that song. I remember we used to have this president that I wasn't fond of, and I remember singing that to the television. I can
Well, I'm glad it was useful.
yeah, I love that line. I let my friends to fill my head with junk. That's it. I was thinking about covering that song, so maybe I will sometime. That's a really great tune. Nick St, everybody, one more time.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Nick.
Great, Nick.
All right, Christina Thompson Lively, on your mark, get set, go, folk singer, go.
Christina.
Okay, my sister also writes some poetry, and the chorus to this song is a poem she wrote called Amazing. Lift up your eyes, take time to see. All you are facing is topography. The rise or run to the ebb and the flow. Find strength to lean in and trust that you know when you think of amazing. Count yourself in for the grit that you bring to the through you have been, for keeping it together when it was falling apart, for living and loving with all of your heart. Lift up your eyes, take time to see. Before you can fly, you've got to dig down deep, find the center, the source, plant the cornerstone that will lay out a course that is only your own. When you think of amazing, count yourself in for the grit that you bring to through you have been, for keeping it together when it was falling apart, for living and loving with all of your heart. Lift up your eyes, take time to see the peaks and the valleys are all part of the journey, that finding the path is feeling the contour, the promise, that hope to believe once more. When you think of amazing, count yourself in for the grit that you bring to the through you have been, for keeping it together when it was falling apart, for living and loving with all of your heart.
Oh, so beautiful, Christian.
All right, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, I could listen to you sing all day long, man. I just love the way you sing. You know, we had Meredith here as our guest poet at one somewhere along the line there, and she did a fantastic job. So that's Chris Thompson. She's got her own solo stuff out there, but the Chris and Meredith Thompson is a duo, and you'll never find tighter harmonies or more, and they're fun too. You know, so get a chance to check them out. But you know, they've got fantastic recordings out there. Here, wait a second.
Oh my goodness.
I can't find any of my own CDs, but I have this one here. It's called Lines of Longitude. Here's a sales pitch for this. This is one of my favorite recordings ever. Every single song on it is just beautiful. Chris and Meredith Thompson, right there. I recommend it highly.
I do too. I do too.
There's a song on there called Lovely. Maybe next time we see you, we get you to do that one. It's one of my favorite songs ever. So thank you one more time, Chris Thompson, everybody. Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Well, you know, this has been good. Thank you so much for. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this when everyone gets busy, but I suspect that the fact that it's interactive and then we get to really hang out, maybe this thing will just keep going. I certainly hope so. I love seeing you and talking to you, and you know, I'm gonna do this one tune, and I think we'll just throw it open for a while and have a conversation or anything that you want after that. I mean, you know, I'm not going anywhere, but I want to play this song here for you. In December 1st of this year, it was my 30th anniversary of the day I quit drinking. Do you believe that? 30 years. Wow. You know, it's a pretty amazing moment that I had there in my life. And this is a song. I've been the closing act at the biggest sober festival, I think, in the world. It's called Sober in the Sun. It's out near Worcester. And this is a song called Angel in Pieces that I played toward the end of that show. And I wrote it thinking about everybody that has, you know, overcome the struggles in their lives, you know, whatever they are. And it's when my son and I used to tour together, and we toured for many years together. We would sometimes play in rehabs and rehabs for teenagers, for young people. I had a gig where I would do that at the Cab up here in Massachusetts, and they were hard places, you know. The court was sending these, you know, either go to jail or go to this rehab, and it was the holidays and like that. And mostly I didn't think that what you know, with a few exceptions, the songs didn't really matter. What mattered was that these young people saw a father and a son who got along with each other, and you could tell that was not something that was common in that world, you know. And I thought that was sort of our contribution there, to show them, even if it's not possible with your own kids, maybe it will be down the line for you there. But this one song here, no matter where I played it in any of those situations, always it was very emotional for me and for the audience. And it's a song about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves. And that's what that's the big thing that you can do. If your eyes are the kind of eyes where if somebody looks in them, they see a reflection of themselves, not as they see themselves, but as you see them. You know, if I love you, or if I believe in you, and you look, if you see your reflection in my eyes, it's a reflection of how I see you. And I see you after your dreams have come true, after after your potential has been fulfilled, after, I can see you with your wings. And so this is called Angel in Pieces, and goes out to everybody out there who trying to get on the better side of any challenge, or for those of you that are supporting those folks, believing in people when they're down and not able to believe in themselves. So thanks for another lovely night, everybody. Here we go. She walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said, I have surrendered. Her face, I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said, I've given up. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like ghosts, and we see them as they are breaking, and as their spirit dies, but deep inside we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Now she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And those old dark eyes are so alive, they set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel, I say to myself. I feel Zuzu's petals, I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. I saw an angel as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are.
Thanks, Dawn.
Oh, John, that was awesome. That was beautiful, Don.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey,
Great show.
that's, as always, wonderful show.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Next week, Jeff and Hannah are gonna perform for us. You can see them in square number 13. There they are, right there.
Yay.
They're pulling them out of New York City to come with us to perform. And also, I just
Right.
told Shanna in a dress. She's gonna be here too. So
Woo! All right.
exciting night for everybody. And I'll try to throw a few songs in there too.
I hope so.
So who knows what Zuzu's pedals are? Anybody?
I know. They're the puddles from Zuzu from It's a Wonderful Life.
There you go.
Yep.
And what happens every time a bell rings?
An angel gets his wings.
Somebody comes in the shop.
Except at the end of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
They put money in
Don't
the
stop.
cash register.
Oh my God, you just ruined the ending. Spoiler alert.
Oh man. So Neil's Braverman, if you can see him now, he's trying to trump my my Peter Max poster there. Can you see him? We're going gallery view, like
Where is he?
So
Whoa! Peace, love, dove.
So Neil, there was a guy sold me some acid in 1976. I thought he ripped me off, but seeing that thing behind you now, I think it just was delayed. Now I'm feeling pretty good.
You're getting your money's worth.
Wait a second. What? No, yeah, it's still good.
The 30-year time release acid wasn't the biggest seller.
But man, is it amazing now.
I'm so glad I cleaned up my life and I'm an accountant now and
Whoa!
numbers.
Whoa!
Dubstep.
Brandon, let's say goodbye to to Facebook and YouTube before we incriminate ourselves over here on Zoom.
Bye, Facebook. Bye,
Bye,
YouTube.
Facebook. Goodbye, YouTube.